What is good, Osiris? Here, stuck in the middle, back podcast again. I want to talk about Dave Chappelle digging a little bit deeper. The topic is still out there. People are chatting about it. And to me, people are confused by it. And I want to provide my perspective, which is different than any other perspective that I've seen on this. I said that I hope Dave Chappelle continues to get a platform. And I fully support his free speech. And I think he is a comedic legend. Even though the last special is a special, it's not a comedy, it's not a laugh out loud. He hasn't been doing really comedy because I think he doesn't like the atmosphere right now. And he's making a smart adjustment to give us something that we need and will trend and will have impact. We're still talking about his comedy routine. If he didn't do what he did, and it wasn't a comedy routine, if he didn't do what he did, we wouldn't be talking about it now. It wouldn't have the impact that he wanted it to have. So he's still brilliant, but I am not on Dave Chappelle's side. I still say he's uncancelable because he's willing to walk away from 50 million. You can't cancel somebody who doesn't care about the money. I mean, you would cancel him, but he doesn't care. He could go to alternative sources. He'll always be out there. Very powerful. I respect him for that. But let me get into this. Dave Chappelle is an identitarian. And if you listen to this channel, you know I am not. And the way I will define identitarian for these purposes is any person who values any identity above country. So if you say I'm black and I'm black first, I care about black issues before I care about America. And that's a lot of people. That's basically most people on the left that are politically active. This is a black versus trans fight to see which identity on the left has more power. That's what this is. This is a critical race theory fight. I'm not in it. I'm not a part of it. I'm not an identitarian. I don't believe in it. It always will get boiled down to this clown stuff. I'm this identity. I'm that identity. And we have to kind of battle it out because what the left views as most important is power. So not just exerting power on people who disagree, that's where they get the most fun from, but intra-squad battles. The left knows these fights will happen within their power structure. That's why they created the term ally. It keeps everyone on the same page and it consolidates power. If you don't consolidate, so the left breaks everybody up into different identities, and if you don't consolidate that, then you don't have the power you need. It's the reason why any action labeled as black, like BLM, has to include every other identity. You go to the Black Lives Matter website, we affirm the lives of black, queer, trans folk, disabled folk, all great, undocumented. I am not knocking that. I'm just trying to explain the thought. They don't want to have an organization called Black Lives Matter and only have the power with black people. That will cause more friction with the other identity groups. It gets real complicated real quickly. This is intersectionality. And this is not for me I am not trying to knock other groups. That is not what I'm doing. I'm just explaining what's happening with Dave Chappelle. We know, and we've known since George Floyd, that Dave Chappelle is into critical race theory and he is of that identity. We've known that. He basically came out of the closet as full-blown critical race theory person when he went after Candace Owens. Called her articulate idiot, no big deal there. But then he pushed back against her take that George Floyd was a criminal anyway. And she said he didn't care if George Floyd personally did something very violent to Candace Owens. That's not a joke. That's not comedy. It's just a statement. And it's inappropriate. It shouldn't have been said. And then he started talking about Candace Owens in a way that is unbecoming of any human being. Talking about what stinks and what doesn't stink. What body parts stink and what body parts don't stink. Why didn't any feminists come out? Identity. from the left? Why didn't any black people come out? Because the Candace Owens is black. Identitarians on the left control that. They didn't come out because that's critical race theory. Candace Owens is not black. Her opinion doesn't matter. If you're not in there, if you don't believe in their religion, then you don't matter. And you can do any vile thing to that person. I don't believe in their religion. They could do any vile thing to me because I don't subscribe to it. Anyone out there, if you don't subscribe to their religion, they can do any vile thing to you and wouldn't give a damn, up to the most ultimate of vile things. That's how warped it is. So the lesson we're learning here is the trans identity, it looks right now to me to have more power than the black identity. What does that mean? If you put leftists on an island with only leftists, then they will only care about their intersectionality power struggle. In that power struggle, if you're a white trans person, meaning a white person who believes in critical race theory, you acknowledge your advantage, your privilege, and your trans, to me, that person has more power than a black cis male, which is Dave Chappelle. That's what Dave Chappelle is really concerned about. If you want to know what he's concerned about, that's what he's really concerned about. He doesn't like, nobody knows better than comedians who you can make fun of and who you can't. He doesn't like that this seems like this group, for good or bad, I'm not criticizing or anything like that, you can't really make fun of them. That means they have more power than you. They can cancel him. That means they have more power than him. He can't cancel them. That's what he's really about. Notice there are no black people speaking out in Dave Chappelle's behalf. You could look at people like Nicole Hannah-Jones, Jamel Hill. They're not speaking out defending Dave Chappelle. Most people are not, unless I missed it. Let me know if I've missed it. But you're not seeing a big push to defend him from black. That's a fact. You're not seeing some big push to say, hey, he has the right to make a joke. It's not, he's still an ally. You don't hear anybody saying that. So that shows that the trans identity is more powerful than the black identity. And that's why he told that story about the baby. There's a rapper, the baby, he killed someone, and Dave Chappelle made sure to let you know he killed a black person. Dave Chappelle said the baby killed a black person and nothing happened to his career. But the second that he went against a certain group, he had to apologize, and it was really a dicey situation. That's what Dave Chappelle cares about, nothing else. Let me know what you think. Take care.